would love to tell about the origin of Shortbox. I know we've talked about it in the past, but I want to hear, again, for those that are new and watching this, basically like the origin story, I guess, of Shortbox.
Yeah, so I love that you're calling it an origin story, because that's how I refer to it as. So it's really funny when, whether I'm talking to, business press or tech press, non-nerd press, and I refer to our beginnings as our origin story. I kind of get like the blank stare, and then I have to explain to them what an origin story is. And so again, thank you for that. I appreciate you using the term origin story, because that's exactly what it is. The spark really that set my co-founder BJ and I down the path of building Shortbox really came from a place of, this is going to sound a little weird, but it came from a place of both passion and frustration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So passion, because we're both lifelong comic book collectors. It's something that's been part of our lives for as long as we can remember. It's part of our identity. Which is, I'm sure, is the case for a lot of collectors out there. I'm sure a lot of the folks watching this right now, it's more than just a hobby. It really is a true passion. It's something that a lot of us identify with. So that's the passion part of it. The frustration part, because nothing has really changed or evolved in decades. And that was frustrating to us as collectors and technologists as well. We spent years, BJ and I, just years complaining over and over about how hard it is to do something as simple as buying and selling comic books. The barrier to entry is so high, very antiquated websites and experiences. It's just insane to us, because, this is a massive secondary market. We're talking hundreds of millions, billions of dollars changing hands every single year on what's essentially dinosaur technology, literal 20-year-old web technology, facilitating these transactions, and it's not that welcoming, and it hasn't been that welcoming for many years, unless you consider yourself really part of that hardcore collector, that hardcore echelon of collectors that are used to these websites that have been around for 20 years. And so that's really where the frustration came from. We were just really frustrated that it wasn't accessible to everyone. And because we really just wanted to make comics more accessible, more mainstream, easier for folks to get into. And ultimately, that's when we actually just realized that nothing would ever change, and we decided that we'd do it ourselves, so that's exactly what we did. I guess that was like our I'll do it myself Thanos moment, that came up, without the universal genocide, of course.
Yeah, preferably, right?
Preferably, yeah. And at the same time, also, we're obviously we're lifelong collectors. We're very passionate collectors. We have a true love, for this hobby in this industry. But we're also technologists. BJ and I, we've worked in tech in Silicon Valley and in San Francisco for our entire professional careers for some of the fastest growing startups and the biggest technology companies in the world. And we really just kind of combined our powers and started working on Shortbox about 4 years ago. Well, more like 4.5 years ago now. We started working on it on nights and weekends. We were moonlighting, working nights and weekends outside of our day jobs. We also, we would take PTO and we would take vacations just to hack. we would literally rent Airbnbs for a week at a time in the middle of the woods, just so we would just hack and iterate and build, and then it got to a point where we're getting close to launch, and we took the big leap of faith, and we each left our jobs, admittedly, very cushy jobs in tech to pursue this. And it's because we just had so much conviction in what we were building. And that was truly something that the industry and collectors actually needed, because we're collectors ourselves, right? So we understand intimately what frustrates us. And if it frustrated us, we had to believe that it frustrated, collectors all over. And so, we truly felt like this was something that we could build, that we were uniquely positioned to build ourselves, just sort of like with our backgrounds and our experience, and to really help usher this industry forward and kind of not be stuck in the Stone Age anymore.